Today's podcast episode is brought to you by Houdinki Insurance, a new venture partnering both Houdinki and Chubb, two industry leaders in their respective fields. Houdinki Insurance is a refreshing new way to protect the timepieces we enjoy and collect. It's a true game changer in that it was designed by watch enthusiasts for watch enthusiasts, and it makes the process of insuring your watches as simple as possible by eliminating the typical pain points that can make insuring your timepieces difficult. Stay tuned later in the episode for more information, and be sure to check out insurance.houdinki.com or download the Houdinki app on iOS or Android. Hey everyone, welcome to the 10 and 2 podcast. I'm Kat.
And I'm Catlin.
And we're here every week talking watches, photography, adventure, and exploring the world of horology.
What's going on, Kat?
Same old, same old.
Same old, same old.
Yeah.
This is always the weird part when we're recording together because we've been talking for like hours
I know.
and not recording. So,
Yeah. It's always a little awkward.
What's going on? As though I haven't spoken to you at all lately.
Yeah, I can't really think of anything brand new. I think we recorded yesterday.
Oh, we did record yesterday.
Yeah, so it's not been too long.
Sorry, listeners, we have no updates between Thursday and Friday. Not a lot happened in our lives.
Not a lot happening, although a new Zenith came out, and we can chat about that for a few minutes. What did you think about it?
I like it.
Yeah.
I think that it looks sexy as hell, honestly. That white dial looks amazing.
The white, the white is so good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a sucker for the El Primera. Like I've been, and El Primera has kind of slowly crept its way into my list lately in the last probably year or so.
Yeah.
And, I love the history behind the El Primera. I think it's just, I think there are iconic chronographs. I think obviously you have the Daytona. I mean, I'd even argue that the El Primera is more iconic, historically than the Daytona. And then, the Speedmaster and whatnot. But yeah, I just think it's such a beautiful watch, and just from a brand that's doing some awesome, like last year Zenith killed it. And then so far
ultraviolet was so good.
Yeah. So far this year, they're doing the same. Yeah. What do you think?
I like it. And like you, I've always been a fan of the El Primero, but I've never found one that really drew my attention. I think it was like the Collective group that's out in California. They did that like ghost whited version.
Oh, that's right.
In gray, and it was beautiful. But this one I do really like because it's a little bit more monotone colors. It's not that blue, red, and white. So I'm just not a fan of that colorway in general. But this one I really do like. And the white, like I said, it's stunning. Yes, it resembles a little bit of a Daytona. I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, never a bad thing really, with the ceramic bezel. But other than that, like I said, it's very much a Zenith watch to me.
Yeah.
Still looks like a Zenith, doesn't, And I will say from photos, I get Daytona vibes. Sure, I will agree with you. But when I've seen this like live in a video, it doesn't look like a Daytona to me at all. So I think seeing it live, seeing the wrist rolls that you'll see people post, and I'm sure there's going to be like a million YouTube videos by the time the episode goes out. But yeah, try to look it up and try to see a video of the watch itself, because I think your mind will change a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, what do we constitute looking like a Daytona? Anything with a black ceramic, any chronograph with a black ceramic bezel and a white dial has to be considered a Daytona.
Yeah.
We were talking about this. It still is very characteristically Zenith. I mean, the subdials are still the same as every other El Primero with the overlapping subdials, which looks absolutely amazing. I think that they have so much DNA. Yeah, they have the high polished center link bracelet. Who doesn't do a high polished center link bracelet?
I hate that too.
I do hate that. I would buy this watch on a rubber strap for sure. And
well,
I
just wish they didn't do the center, and I know that's like their thing too. But I just don't know if I could do that. I don't think I can do the center polished links
when it scratches, so there's no way I could do it.
Yeah, my date just has the clasp is polished, and I've had it. We've been wearing it for like over a week now, and there's scratches on it.
I am so. Yeah, well, I guess we could just go ahead and knock out a wrist check.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
Point.
We're in the date dress.
Yeah, date dress. All right. I have the Grand Seiko, the SBGV 245, and I'm so thankful that it's wintertime because I wear sweaters. So like my watch is always underneath like a sweater.
That's true. Yeah,
and I've hit it a couple of times. Like I hit it hard.
I've been trying to like pull that sleeve, I'm wearing shorter
Cat needs
sleeves today.
longer sweater sleeves. But I hit it pretty hard today, and I was so stressed out. This is the first. I was talking to a good friend of mine, and he was laughing at me because I gave him grief about scratching him being overprotective about his snowflake. And this is me. Like I'm so afraid of scratching this thing because the finishing is just so damn good.
It's perfect.
And I know once I scratch it, like I can refinish my Omegas. I can refinish my marker brand watches, the Seikos, things like that. They're easy to refinish. This I can't do. Like, no way.
No, not that Zaratsu.
No, this is how they get you with the service bills. They're like,
well, I don't even think about service bills. I think about time because I've heard that Grand Seiko takes forever to service a watch.
I need them to get a U.S. service center, please.
Yeah.
For real.
Well, speaking of Grand Seiko, and we were talking about the Zenith, and I just thought about something. So it's like the ceramic bezel, similar type font, and, people think automatically Daytona, right? Well, there's that Grand Seiko that I like. I think it's the, SBGN 003. I'm probably butchering that reference number, but it's the 9F GMT that everyone refers to it as like an Explorer 2 lookalike. And I think there's so many differences other than, again, the bezel is similar to a Rolex, but it just happens. I mean, I think people see one thing and they want to reference it to a Rolex, and that's just.
But I think we have to give watch brands more credit than that. I mean, it's just. You're allowed to do your own thing, and at the end of the day there can only be so much deviation. Like, let's be honest, like unless you're doing something absolutely insane, which is also going to cost an arm and a leg. I mean, you can only reinvent the wheel so much. I think that, if anything, for me as a watch brand, it would be flattering for people to think, oh, that looks like a Rolex, but also no, like they, Grand Seiko in that instance, they've done very, very specific things to make this uniquely them. And I think like maybe we just need to open our eyes a little bit more and maybe quit being so trained that everything has to be a Rolex and kind of look at things for what they are and not for what you think they're trying to be.
I mean, there's nothing wrong if the brand had that in mind in the first place. I mean, Zenith's thinking that there is a void in the market to fill for these people that can't get a Daytona. Well, they just served it, right? So, I mean, 10 grand by all means is not easy money to spend, but it's more available. I mean, that alone is a big step up from trying to get your hands on a Daytona. So kudos to them. I like the watch. Very excited to see it. Hopefully sounds like we might get some hands-on time with it. So, that would be a good review, I think.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Also, 2021, year of the chronograph.
You think so? More chronographs this year?
Speedmaster.
Oh, yeah.
The new Speedies dropped.
Very
and now this
true.
dropped. So
Very
maybe this is the year of the chronograph. We'll see.
We'll see
what comes out. I'm excited that this is how the year has kicked out. There hasn't been a lot of new releases, but
good ones.
But they're good. Yeah, they're very solid new releases.
Yeah, we got LVMH coming up in a week or so. So
very exciting. We'll see what happens next. But it's the end of the month. So we decided, and we didn't do one last month.
No.
It's time to do some Q&A because these episodes are fun. And we always have a good time kind of interacting with everybody. I think you guys know that. We love interacting with y'all. So we just put out some question on Instagram and asked for you guys to submit some questions for us to answer on the podcast. So you ready to get started?
Let's do it. All right. I'll start with the first one. And what we'll do is we'll just kind of knock these out and kind of go down the list until we run out of time, basically.
Cool. That works for me.
No madness to it. All right. So at Peter2704 asks, the usernames are always so hard to get. All right. On a scale from 1 to 10, how much are you looking forward to summer?
Like 11.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Let's be honest. It's cold, y'all.
It
has snowed like 3 times this year.
Don't even.
All right. So Kat's a little salty about the snow because typically
your side of town.
my side of town never gets snow because I live south of Nashville. And I mean, just geography, like anything south. That's why Tennessee doesn't get much snow because we're in the south.
Yeah.
So I always miss out on the snow, which I don't care. And Kat usually gets some snow, but this year, every time it snowed, Kat has totally missed out. I woke up, I had 3 solid, fluffy inches of snow 2 weeks ago, and
Yeah.
Kat got nothing.
I got nothing, like literally nothing. I was so mad.
I'm outside taking my cute little wrist pics or whatever. Like,
I just wanted
Kat's
one
just
day.
salty.
I totally agree with you. I was sitting in the car today, coming back home this morning, and it was really sunny and it was beautiful. And I was like, I wish I was, A, I wish it was hot. And B,
Yeah.
I wish I was wearing like a tank top and shorts and just like riding in the Jeep. I just want summer so bad.
I want summer even more this year because I feel like I didn't get summer last year.
There was so much going on.
There was so much going on. Nobody knew like what was going on anywhere. You know, pools were closed and never made it to the beach. And I know that sounds trivial, but to me, that's like part of summer. And a lot of that is my fault. I didn't take advantage of the time I had.
Well, we didn't take advantage because we were in like this unknown state, as I'm sure a lot of people were. Like, you were furloughed, you were back, it's like
exactly.
We didn't know. I didn't know
when I was going back to work, when I was going to be off work. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, you just can't plan for those things.
Yeah. So, we're both ready. I'm assuming your answer is yes.
Yes, 1000%.
Okay. All right. So from @DoingTime Scotland, what advice would you give your younger self when you started out in the watch hobby?
Oh my gosh.
This is a good one.
What advice would I give my younger self? I probably would have told myself to hold on, or no, I actually I would say to think a little bit more about purchases. I did a lot of impulse buying when I first got into this hobby, probably because I just didn't know what my tastes were at the time. And of course, I went through the flipping phase. But yeah, I think if I was a little bit more thoughtful in the way that I am now, but I am the way I am now because I had to go through that. But yeah, that would be a little bit of a piece of advice. Put a little bit more thought into it. Take your time. Don't make those impulse purchases. What about you?
As we both made an impulse swatch purchase last December.
Yeah, I know. But it ended up as a gift, so it's all good.
No, I mean, I kind of think the same. And honestly, that's not even as a beginner. I still struggle with this. And this is something that I really am trying to focus more on this year as I just bought a Zen for no reason. But don't judge
Oh, yeah,
me.
I forgot about
Exactly. For those who don't know, I have a new Zen.
Yeah.
A friend of mine sent me his 104 to check out because I've been wanting to check it out. And then I feel like maybe he was drinking, but I'm holding him to it. And texted me like in the middle of the night and was like, hey, I'd sell it to you for this ridiculously stupid low price.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be an idiot to pass it up.
You would be. It
I was
super
like,
cheap.
okie dokie.
Yeah. I don't think I would have said no to it at that price either.
Oh, that makes me feel better.
Yeah.
So I want to try and cut out the impulse buying. I think that
no more Seikos for me. Damn you, Seiko.
Always launching something new.
Yeah.
It's hard. And it's hard to say, like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like what you said, everything kind of led me to where I am. So I really am one to not, kind of regret things in general. I think I would say, don't be afraid to sell things before.
Yeah.
Like I held on to a lot of watches for a long time, and I still am holding on to some watches that I should just go ahead and sell.
Yeah.
But if you're not happy with it, just don't be afraid to let it go. And I think just do what you like. Don't care about what people on the internet are going to say, or, what the hot watch is. If your watch isn't that's okay. Just get whatever you like.
Yeah, I like that. That was smart.
Right.
Smart. Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think Tudor will release in 2021?
Same watch, different color. No, I mean, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough because I realize I'm a hypocrite, right? Like I give Tudor grief for releasing the same watch in a different color last year. Even though I love the watch, like
but they did have that new what was it called?
The PL1 the year before.
No, they had the new like Prince. No, it wasn't called.
Oh
Prince.
yeah. The Royal.
The Royal.
Royal. Yeah. Also not a fan of it.
Yeah, but it was new.
It was new. It was different. Yeah. I really don't know. I would like for them to kind of explore that collection a little bit more. Maybe make it a little bit more uniquely Tudor. I feel like with that collection, they leaned a little heavy on the Rolex heritage, that they're associated with. But I don't know. I would love to see also an update to the Pelagos. I think a lot of people would. I think a lot of us are waiting for a better size in the Pelagos, and we'll see. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, they've had a long time to figure something out because Lord knows there wasn't much going on last year. So it'll be interesting to see what happens this year.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, I think, with the release of the Royal, and the Royal line was actually like really, really big. I don't think we're going to see anything quite as large as that on scale. I think there might be something new, but it'll be a smaller line or maybe an update. I could see them updating just the regular black bays, like the 36 and the 41s that are the non-divers. I can't remember what they are actually called, but maybe some new colors, maybe an update. But yeah, like you said, maybe an upgraded, Pelagos, and I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
You don't expect much from a brand that's very conservative, so I wouldn't expect a lot. A Black Bay GMT 58 would be amazing.
I was about to say, I would love to see a GMT.
I don't think it'll happen this year, though. I don't know.
A GMT without a Pepsi bezel, to be clear.
Maybe a different color.
Can we get away from Pepsi bezels and make something uniquely their own, is what I would like to see. And now a word from today's sponsor. Houdinki, the preeminent resource for all things watches, has recently announced a new venture, Houdinki Insurance. Created in partnership with Chubb, the world's premier insurer of valuable collections, Houdinki Insurance is a game changer in how you protect the watches you love. Signing up takes just a few minutes, and in most cases, you can instantly protect your watches with comprehensive insurance backed by two of the most trusted names in their industries. In most cases, you won't need independent appraisals or sales receipts, and you won't even have to speak with an agent to get your quote. The ease in which you can apply for Houdinki Insurance and get coverage makes insuring traditionally difficult timepieces, such as vintage watches, better now than ever. Not to mention the added peace of mind that comes with the appreciation protection, guaranteeing up to 150% of your watch's value up to the policy limit, ensuring fair value during an ever-changing watch market. Houdinki Insurance is available to U.S. residents in all 50 states. Visit insurance.houdinki.com or download the Houdinki app for iOS or Android to learn more and sign up today. Okay, from @BezelBandit, are you going to launch any merch at some point?
I think we talked about it a little bit in the past. Our focus is media and bringing you guys the best content that we can do. If something else takes our time away from that, I don't want it to reflect on the show. And we both have full-time jobs on top of this. So I don't think that we will right now. I won't say that we won't ever. If we have more time on our hands, then certainly I would love to pursue something like that we can bring you guys. And certainly if something comes along that's a small project, but right now, it'd just be really, really hard for us to devote time to that.
Yeah.
And the podcast is our number one priority. So
yeah, I agree. I mean, there's been so much that we've talked about in the last year, but at the end of the day, it is like the podcast is what all of this started as, and it's what I feel like we're great at. You guys clearly feel like we're great at because you listen to us when there's a ton of other content out there.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that we're both passionate about, and I'd hate to see that kind of get muffled a little bit by
a t-shirt
like,
or a hat,
by something like merch. I love the idea about it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Like I love merch, like,
same.
just as much as everybody else does, but it's just like Cass said, I mean, we both have full-time jobs. This podcast is a very full-time job.
Also, we're both perfectionists, and I wouldn't want to put anything out that wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
But I will say this, if you are someone that would like to see some merch from us, send us a DM of what you would like to see. I'm just curious to know what our listeners might want.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
Go for it.
Always take advice. Okay, so the Watch Potato asks, Snoopy Speedmaster or the Ed White 321?
I've been asked this question a lot lately.
Really?
Yes, a whole lot. I think it really depends on what you're passionate about, right? To me personally, I'm not passionate enough about the 321 movement and that story of just a movement to want the 321.
Yeah.
I'm much more passionate about the NASA affiliation and space and things like that. So to me, that's where I feel the Snoopy is the much better option.
Yeah, because you're more into the collaboration aspect between NASA and Omega than you are the watch itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the watch.
Yeah.
Like, obviously. But yeah, exactly. I'm much more into the the things that the watch has done, not just what powered the watch. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel like, well, also the Snoopy is like
They're both going to be hard to get.
$5,000 less. Both probably equally difficult to get. Yeah, for sure. What about you? If you could choose one, which one?
Snoopy all the way.
Okay.
Not even, just because I like it more. It's more me. It's more fun. And yeah, I don't value the 3-2-1 movement the way that other people do. And I understand why they do. It doesn't mean as much to me.
Yeah, same. Yeah. And I mean, I think what Omega did with the 3-2-1 is very cool. I think, the fact that they couldn't even open the case bag of the watch that they were using. They had to 3D scan it, CT scan it. Clearly I'm not an x-ray technician. Whatever they did, I think it's super cool that they were able to do that. But yeah, for me, I'd much rather have the watch with a story that's more relatable. So.
Yeah, I mean, if I was between an Ed White and one of the brand new Speedmasters that came out, I would just pick one of the new ones. I'd be just as happy with it. Honestly, I like it more aesthetically.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so from the Speedy Shutter, what's your favorite focal length for watch photography and why?
I have many answers to this.
Okay.
So I think that having a macro lens is obviously beneficial because you can get those really close-up shots. Even just on the wrist shots, I think my macro lens helps with that. So then I've got a 30 millimeter macro on my Sony, and then on the Leica, I have the 28 millimeter that has the macro lens on there too. I think another one that is just honestly my favorite right now. It's hard because I have two different cameras that have several different lenses. I like the 50 millimeter on my Sony a lot, especially for taking shots on other people, not necessarily wrist shots on myself. I think you just work with what you have, and I don't think that I could honestly I don't think I could have a favorite, to be honest with you. I use them all.
Yeah, I think it depends on what style photography you're doing, like what your shot is going to look like. For me, I mean, when I got the Fuji, I got it with a 35 millimeter lens, and that was all I knew for, 8 months, maybe something like that. And I find myself sometimes still just going back to, now that I have that 18 to 50.
Yeah, 55 or something like that.
Yeah, 18 and 55 millimeter lens on it. And I still kind of find myself going back to 30 for a lot of those same style shots that I did in the beginning. I do like that, but I think it's really going to vary. And I think if you're spending, if you can only have one lens, then I would recommend probably something like the 18 to 55 so that you can have that diversity and you can really kind of change it out. I love the idea of macro. I really do. Some of the shots that people get are so dang good, but I cannot do macro photography on one of my watches because I will notice something and that will be it. Well, it's the same when you had your Grand Seiko, you noticed like a fingerprint or something on one of the markers, and that was instantly like you fell out of love with that watch very quickly right after that. Like we obviously I'm part of these conversations. You had talked about having it serviced or whatever else, but you just bought it. Why would you send it out for servicing?
I would have never saw it if it hadn't been for that macro lens too. So
but once you see it, you don't unsee it.
I know, because I knew exactly where it was.
And that's my fear in life. So I like macro photography, the idea of it, maybe on other people's watches. And as long as I never, ever, 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 ever do it on mine.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not a huge macro lens person. They're fun to play around with, certainly. I think I use mine more so for just general wrist shots so I can get really close to the watch. Other than that, I don't tend to use it in the same sense that most people use it for in those like really dialed in close-up shots, which I think are fantastic, but they're just not my forte. They're not what I like to shoot.
Yeah.
So I think we're both a little bit more on the lifestyle side of things.
For sure.
All right, so let's see. From Dborn87. First time, long time.
I feel that means first time question, long time listener.
Oh, okay. Maybe so. Do you have any tips or tricks for wrist shots and pocket shots?
Yes.
What's your tip?
Okay, so the pocket shot thing I feel like has always been a struggle for a lot of people. I think for me, I have lighting. First of all, lighting
Mhm.
is everything. We've talked about this, and this would be the same thing for wrist shots too. Lighting, angles, not being afraid to like play around with things. But I have bay windows, or like a French doors, I guess is the better term for it, in my dining room. And so I just put up the screens, and that way I have natural light that comes in, and it's already a little bit diffused. And my dining room table is kind of perfect height just to prop. If you don't have a camera, you don't have to have a camera. You can use your cell phone.
Mhm.
Put a timer on your phone, prop it up against a book, make sure that you're standing where the light is coming right on at the dial, and just kind of practice, like, even before you set a timer on your camera, practice some different angles. You're going to look ridiculous, okay? Like, I'm like throwing some hips, like I'm at a club or something. But you just got to like kind of practice it, and then once you kind of find that angle that you like, then just click the thing real quick, and get you have a 10-second timer set. There are tons of like little remote clickers that you can buy on
Mhm.
Amazon and things like that to be able to do that stuff with.
Yeah.
It's much easier than the trying to like reach around and like bend over and contort your back to get a. I know this makes me sound old. I like recently really hurt my back, so I'm definitely not about any of that to try and get a pocket shot. But to me, that's what's easiest. And same thing with wrist shots. You can't
Mhm.
be afraid. Like, lighting is your friend.
Yeah.
Diffuse it a little bit. Like for me, I use the windows naturally diffuse it. And don't be afraid to try different angles, and really kind of play around with it.
I totally agree. And I think that as far as like wrist shots go, because I think you nailed most of the pocket shot tips that I would say. Wearing a light color t-shirt, something that's like not super dark in color, is going to help reflect. Or if you need to reflect, if you're going to be in a bright situation, sometimes wearing black would help reflect some of those, bright colored, lights and reflections coming off the watch. Think about the shirts you're wearing, and also, I think our friend Josh told us this tip of putting the camera up on your chest where you've got something steady to
Yeah.
hold it on. And then again, always use a timer. Your shots are always going to come out. I'm so surprised about this all the time. I'll take a shot using my finger on the shutter, and then I'll take the same one using the timer, and the one with the timer is always so much sharper. And on your iPhone, you're not going to be able to adjust the shutter speed. So I do 5 seconds, and I literally just hold my breath for 5 seconds, and then boom, it's a perfect shot. So there's some tips right there.
Yeah, play around with the angles too.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people get discouraged if they just try, one shot from one angle. And
Hmm.
there's a lot of different ways you can move your camera around, move your wrist around, just to make the shot a little bit more different and kind
Hmm.
of pleasing. So but play that, especially if you're just using your phone, just play around with it.
Yeah, and I think another tip for me, what I like to see, because the iPhone lens can sometimes distort. I'm not sure about the new lenses, but get away from the watch just a little bit more
Mhm.
distance between the watch and your camera. I think a lot of people get right up on it, and it tends to make your wrist look really strange too. So I think add a little bit more distance there.
Yeah, good point.
All right. Was that mine or was that
My
yours?
turn.
Okay. Oh,
Um,
definitely not answering that next one.
okay, so from at Gelato Mancer, are your personal styles changing during COVID, watch or otherwise?
I don't think my watch style has necessarily changed. I'm still very much into steel sport watches, and I do think my dress style, I know Catlin commented on, I have like this sweater on today, and then I have basically like yoga pants underneath. But I've kind of taken on this, like, I don't go out anymore. I mean, we just don't go out anywhere. And so my wardrobe has definitely changed. I've bought clothes this year that are just comfortable pants and then nice, cute sweaters, because like I'm just not going anywhere. But I don't want to feel like I'm in my PJs either. That's a big thing for me working
Yeah.
from home. I don't like that feeling. On the weekend, it's fine. Like I will lounge around all day, PJ sweats, but during the week, also with what I do, I don't know sometimes if I'm going to have a video call at certain times of day. So I always try to be a little bit prepared, not such a hot mess. But yeah, my style has definitely changed. And I think going forward, since I'm not into the same, career field that I was, I will probably kind of keep this type of style, just relaxed and comfortable.
Yeah.
What about you?
No, I mean, I think so. Watches have really kind of stayed the same. I mean, I don't think that that's really changed much. Even when I was home, I wore watches every day, mostly because I took pictures of watches every day. So maybe that doesn't really count because I do find that sometimes the only time I wear a watch, like on my day off,
Yeah.
might be because I had grabbed it to take a wrist shot.
Even now?
On my day off, yeah. I'm just going to throw it out there. There
Well-
are some days that the only watch that I wear is the Apple Watch.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, guys, don't come at me.
Keeping it real.
It's fine. Yeah, keeping it real. Now, I will say, I mean, for me, I've been back at work for a very long time. I went back last May. I was off work for 7 weeks, but during that 7 weeks, I mean, I wasn't wearing a suit every day, but I still made the effort to get dressed every day. Just because and I think this is all going to depend on people's personality. I feel like it's easy to get like in that rut of let me just lounge around all day. And I'm not judging anybody who does it. Like you're way more comfortable than I am. That's for damn sure. But I feel better if I'm like dressed, at least like not like full hair, makeup, whatever, but like some basic, some foundation, a little bit of primer, you know,
you're ready to
make it
take
look
on
like
whatever.
I'm alive and a t-shirt and blue jeans or shorts or something like that. Yeah. I mean, I definitely don't dress cute to go out anymore.
I know.
So I don't, Kat and I have joked. We wore a dress one time last year and it was to film a video. And that's the only time I wore a dress.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I do miss getting cute. Like I have a dinner to go to Sunday night and I'm like, what am I going to wear? I haven't like worn cute things.
And it's cold too, which is kind of hard.
I hate going out in the cold, man, because you got to deal with the coat situation. It's a whole thing.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know what to wear. That's my life struggle right now.
Well, let me ask you this. So is there any watches you look at differently now than you did probably pre-COVID? Because I know that you were lusting after a lot of Doxes and a lot of divers. And I think some of the things you've added to your collection even later on last year were a little different than normal. You got that Atlas, the Monta Atlas. You now have this phenomenal Grand Seiko that you're wearing today that pre-COVID, I don't think that you wouldn't have wanted as much. I don't know. I feel like your tastes have definitely changed. I don't know if that has anything to do with COVID or not COVID.
Yeah, I don't know that it has anything to do with COVID necessarily. I think the Doxa is still on my radar, but it's hard, right? Because it's so much color and I want one so bad. But also I know me, like I know that like black, gray, white is kind of my go-to. So it really is difficult to kind of justify spending, thousands of dollars, essentially like $1,600, $1,800, something like that.
Yeah, I'm always a little surprised when I look up Doxa prices. I always forget. Like I always think they're like
every time I think like I've got some extra money sitting around, I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna get this time, and then I look at the price and I'm like, nope.
Oh, yeah, I forget that they are at the price point that they are. It's not bad or anything.
No,
I just kind of forget about it.
Yeah, and of course I can't want the sub 200, which is half the damn price. No. I have to want the 300.
You gotta go for 300.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a little hard for me. I think that's just kind of the style in general, the color situation, and kind of maybe more practical every day. It's just maybe subconsciously they're safer. Like I know that if I am going to spend money on watches, I want them to be something that I can wear kind of universally.
Yeah, I mean, I know that Grand Seiko goes with pretty much everything you wear.
Yeah, I'm smitten. Absolutely smitten.
All right. Oh, man, this is a tough one. So from MC_Lyle, what one watch would you trade your whole collection in for today?
Why? Why are you asking us this?
I know.
What one watch? There's so many variables. Does it have to be the same price point? Does it I don't know. Man, I don't like this question.
It's tough.
Do you have an answer?
No, I don't know if I could trade everything I own. I don't have that kind of grail. Like I have grails on my list, but like I don't have something that I'd want to get rid of everything else for.
Yeah. I mean, I think at the end of I really enjoy variety and I have grails. I have stupid, ridiculous grails. And then I have like, oh, it would be really cool to own this watch. like I do. I love the Daytona. I would love to own one. I'm not spending $12,000 anytime soon, and even then, I'm not waiting like 8 years to get one. But I doesn't mean I would trade everything that I have now for it. Yeah, I don't think there is anything that I would just trade everything now, unless I could just sell whatever I trade everything for. If I could buy something stupid expensive, let me get a Tiffany stamp 5711.
There you go.
For all the watches that I have now, and then turn around and sell that, and then buy all new watches.
Okay.
Including the ones that I have now. I'll just buy back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
That's a
know.
plan.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, I don't think I can answer that one.
Could you ever be happy with a one watch collection?
I mean, I think I could if I had to. If it came down to like we were struggling financially or something like that, I think I would certainly come to terms with that. But I wouldn't do it out of free will.
Yeah, you would never want to have a one watch collection.
No, I don't think so. I think I can go down to like 2 or 3 and be happy.
I don't even know about 3.
Yeah.
You've better control than I do, clearly. That was a tough one.
That was a really tough one.
I did not like that question. So let's go to at enjoy.your_time. Black Bay 58 or Explorer 1?
Oof, that is tough. I got to go Explorer 1. I think I'm so much more of a fan of that. I like the Black Bay 58, but I don't love the gilt version. So I would go blue, and I don't think the blue is as versatile as that Explorer 1. I think the Explorer 1 is like the go anywhere, do anything perfect watch. So I go Explorer 1. What about you if you had to pick between the two?
I feel like I'm going Black Bay.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
The blue?
I would even do the black one.
What?
Yeah, I like gilt now. I don't know where. All of a sudden, I like gilt.
I like it. I like seeing it. I don't love having it.
I don't know. I feel like I could be very happy owning it.
Yeah.
That being said, I'd probably own one and absolutely hate it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's a more unique looking watch to me. Like it just has a little bit more to it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, man, I'm going to get some hate for this that I'm about to say. I feel like Rolex, just a lot of their models don't necessarily have anything special to them.
Okay. That's understandable.
Not all of their models.
Mm-hmm.
I think they do some models where like I think just basically the Explorer 1 series just isn't that special. Yeah. I mean, so I just want something with a little bit more personality. And to me, that's where I'm going with.
Yeah. I mean, and that's
Black
that is where Tudor shines. Tudor tends to have more personality in the watches that are very similar to Rolex, but they're able to go the extra mile where, Rolex is going to be very conservative and have very, very small changes. I think that, the Explorer is such an iconic watch. And I think that just like the Sub, they're never really going to do like huge things to change it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they are boring. Like they're boring watches. And I'm okay saying that. And I'm okay knowing that I like them. God. No, they're boring. They're boring as all get out. Like
I'm like worried about my DMs.
Yeah. And if you want something that's more fun and that's more you and more personalized, then yeah, Tudor's the way to go.
Yeah. The blue though is also equally amazing.
The blue is really good.
Still makes my heart skip a beat when I think about it. So
it was very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Such a cool watch.
For sure.
Well, I think that about wraps us up.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. We just wanted to come up and do something just real easy and kind of, we enjoy these. I like the Q&A episodes.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're just fun. So head over to our website, www.10and2.com. You can check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at 10and2 Media. And that is all for today. We will be back next week with some, I don't know what we're talking about, but we'll figure it out. So, all right. And with that, we'll see you later.
All right. Bye.
Bye, y'all.